Yeah, the system's rigged. Here's how it works. You can either live in a communist dictator-controlled country where the system is rigged and it's all run by criminals and you're an underling that supplies the criminal network. Or you live in America that's all rigged and run by fucking criminals, but you get the chance to be one. Play the fucking game. Play the game. What America gives you is the opportunity to play the game.
Everything that man said in his video is 100% facts. Now, I'll preface this video by saying he didn't mean to go out and be a criminal, go out and break the rules, break the laws, and do something stupid to get yourself arrested. What he meant was you have to develop a criminal like mindset. You have to develop a mindset of, I'm going to get it by any means necessary if you want to make it to the top. If you want to make it to the top echelon, the top pinnacle of life and live and not just survive, you have to develop a mindset like that. You can't continue to live this soft life. You can't continue to act like everything is hunky dory, kumbaya, everything is going to be all right if I continue to live my life the way I'm living now. Eventually I'll get mine. No. You can't live like that if you want to make it to the top. Right? We live in a society where the rules are constantly changing, but the rules are constantly changing to favor the elite, to favor the politicians, to favor the rich, powerful, and wealthy. The rules will never, have never, and will never be in our favor, in the favor of the average person, in favor of the general public of society. The rules will never, have never been, and will never be in our favor. See, if you're not first, you're last. And unfortunately, the majority of us were not born first. All the rich, all the wealthy, all the elites, right? They were born first, which is why they were able to create the rules to benefit them, to be catered towards them, to be catered towards people like them and their bloodlines for years, decades, centuries to come, right? That is the mindset that is the society that we now find ourselves in, that we continue to live in. And if you're continuing to live by the set of rules that you were taught in school, you're not going to make it. Remember when we were in school? For those of you that can remember this, remember when we were in school? I don't know, maybe they teach it now still. But remember they used to teach us the golden rule? What was the golden rule? Treat others the way you want to be treated, right? Now, I used to live my life that way when I was a kid. I used to treat people with respect, kindness, compassion, care, right? I used to treat people that way. And for a time, people used to return the favor. So I'm like, okay, this is how we're supposed to live. This is how everybody is. Now, naive me didn't understand how the real world worked back then. And as I got older, as I got more experience, as I got wiser, as I had my fair share of life's troubles and traumas hit me, then I started realizing, okay, this is not how the world works. Just because you treat somebody with respect and kindness and compassion and care does not mean they're going to treat you that way, right? Human beings are selfish by nature, right? Human beings, and I'm not saying all human beings are selfish, but the majority, the vast majority of humans are selfish by nature. Especially in 2026, we now live in a society where somebody's always looking for a leg up on somebody. Somebody is always looking for a way to get up on something or somebody, right? You're always looking to see, okay, what can I get? What can I do to get this promotion so that that person doesn't? What can I do to get ahead so that this person doesn't? Right? Everybody's always looking for something to be able to get ahead, right? And honestly, I don't blame half the people who think that way. I don't blame them because we've been lied to, right? We've been lied to, and it's only now, it's only in recent times where we are all really starting to wake up and say, like, what are we doing? What kind of life are we living? We've been lied to. The average, lifestyle, the traditional lifestyle, the quote unquote American dream, it doesn't work, right? So there's going to be outrage everywhere. There's going to be anger and crash outs everywhere, right? When people start realizing the truth that they've been lied to their whole life. So I don't blame half the people who are angry and, you know, just want to take their anger out on everybody. But there's a smart way to do that. There is a different way to do that. You can't just go out and start, you know, taking out your anger and revealing your plans to everybody and telling people, oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. And I don't care who I step on, because then you become a target. Then you become a target, then you become exploitable, and then you start, you people will start realizing, oh, this person, he or she reveals this, and I can use this to my advantage, and they're not gonna ever see it coming, right? That's how people are. People always want to see what they can get out of another person. Now you can call that cynical, you can call that, oh, non trustworthy, but quite frankly, it's because I am I don't trust people, right? I've seen too much, I've experienced too much, to the point where I cannot trust people. You can't trust anybody in today's society because somebody's always looking to stab you in the back, right? It used to be a time when a handshake meant something. It used to be a time when a pinky promise meant something. Nowadays you can pinky promise something, you can give somebody your word, you can you can have somebody swear, right? And they'll still be lying to you, lying straight in your face, looking dead at you in the face, like, yeah, I promise you I'll do this, lying straight in your face, waiting for the first opportunity to backstab you. That's the world we live in, right? And I'm here to tell you that the game was never, life isn't fair. Life isn't fair. The game was never fair. The rules aren't fair. The only thing you can do is get over it and use the rules to your advantage. Get to where you want to get to by using the rules to your advantage. Yes, you may have to step on some toes. Yes, you may have to break some of your principles. Yes, you're going to have to, you know, bypass some of your moral and internal consciousness and compasses. But if you want to make it in life, you tell me the alternative. That's the only choice you have at this point. I mean, when you really realize it, how many of these politicians do we see are crooked? How many of these politicians do we see have skeletons in their closets? Right? How many of these politicians do any of us really believe? How many of these politicians do any of us really believe are just clean, straight, have done nothing wrong, right? I guarantee you, if you were to ask anybody with some sense, anybody who has a good sense of discernment on the world, and this is not just in America, this is the entire world. You ask them, do you think there are any good politicians in the world? I guarantee you they're going to say no, because you don't get to a certain level of power, you don't get to a certain level of wealth without stepping on toes. And then you got people who are complaining like, oh, but if everybody becomes a cold-hearted person to try and get anything they want, well, everybody can't be that way. Everybody's not going to be that way. That's the difference. Everybody is not going to be that way, because then you get into religious coding, moral coding. You got people who are going to be grounded because of their morals, their principles, their religion, and kudos to you, right? Kudos to you if you're one of those people, right? Sometimes I struggle with that myself, trying to figure out, what, this goes against my principles, I can't do it, right? But it's like an internal struggle. You want to get to where you want to get to. You want to make it to the top, but it goes against your principles. It goes against your religion. It goes against your morals, right? And so you really have to think about, and you really have to think about, like, do I want to play this game fair? Am I fine living the life that I'm living right now, or do I want to get better? Because the better you get, the richer you get, the higher you get in the human experience, in the top tier of society, the more you have to break your own rules, the more you have to step on people's toes, the more you can't trust anybody, the more you have to, I'm going to get it by any means necessary. And if you're not with me, then you're against me. That's the mindset that you have to have. And it's unfortunate to say, but that is just the way society is. That is just the way the game has been designed. Those are the rules that we live by. This goes with everything, right? This goes with everything. You think about it. Human beings are constantly looking for a leg up on one another. Human beings are constantly looking to see, okay, I want to be the next big thing, right? I want to be the next big influencer. I want to be the next, I don't know, social media influencer. I want to be the next whatever, right? They're always looking for something. They're always looking for how can I use this person to my advantage? How can I get to where I want to get to? It goes with work, it goes with relationships, it goes with family members, friends, right? How many people, right? There's always somebody who's going to be better than you. There's always somebody who is going to, you know, have something that you don't, which is why if you really want to make it in life, you have to develop the mindset. It's no more Mr. Nice Guy. There's a reason why there is a saying as old as time, no more Mr. Nice Guy. And once the nice guy is gone, that's when you start to succeed, right? To all my fellas out there, how many times has a woman rejected you because you were too nice, right? How many times does that happen? Or how many times when you're at work, you volunteer for something and you end up getting the brunt of the work and you have to, you got to stay overtime. You got to, put your work to the side and you have to do all this extra work because you volunteered for it. And in the end, maybe you don't even get credit for it, right? All you get is a round of applause and a pat in the back. And, you get volunteered for that, something different, right? They choose you for that, right? You can't have this fair and just religious excuse me, not religious, but you can't have this fair and just, I'm going to be nice to everybody mindset if you want to make it to the top because you will get stepped on. I'm telling you because I have gone through my fair share of troubles and issues. So I can speak on experience and I would like people to learn from my experiences. You are either a winner or you are a loser. Okay, there's going to be right now there's an in between, but soon there's going to be no in between, right? And then you got the people who are gonna who say, oh well, if there's only gonna be winners and losers, well I don't want to play this game. There's no exiting this game. I'm sorry, but there's no exiting this game. There's only one way that you can exit this game, and I'm sure you guys know how that is and how what that is. And even when you do, when it's your time to exit this game, you still got to pay a premium. You still got to pay. You still got to pay to exit this game. That's how rigged this game is. So, yes, life is unfair. The rules were made and designed to be against you. That doesn't mean you can't use the rules to your advantage, right? That does not mean you can't have society. That doesn't mean you can't use these rules to create the life you want to live, right? That doesn't mean any of that. You just have to use the rules and you have to break free of this nice syndrome. There's no time to live a soft life anymore. There's no time to pretend like everything's going to be okay. There's no time for any of that. If you want to make it in life, if you really want to make it in life, the only way is getting rid of this nice girl, this nice guy mindset. How do you think these politicians get away with half the things they get away with? Tax evasion, right? Fraud. They don't have to, they bypass tax auditors, right? How do you think all of these politicians get away with all of these things? And then we're in the comment sections talking about, oh man, this isn't fair. How is it that these politicians and all these rich people and wealthy people, they can get away with all of these things? Step on toes. They don't care who they hurt. They don't care what, they don't care what they do. They don't care who they have to step on to get what they want. That's just the way the world is. So you have to ask yourself, do you want to be a winner or do you want to be a loser? I'm not sitting here telling you to make a decision. You can tell that you can make your own decision. All I'm telling you is the facts of how society and how life is. So think about it and awaken yourself. I'll see you guys in the next video.